to the Cultivating Calmness Podcast. My name is Kaela Vance, and I'm going to talk today about how Google decided to suspend my business profile and the censorship that tends to happen with holistic and wellness practices. If you're not aware, out in the world, there are many holistic, wellness, naturalist type providers. And if you post information or talk about information that is more non-mainstream, is a little, off the main path or alternative, Google and other platforms will decide to demonetize you, censor you, deplatform you. This has happened and been happening to me and my business. My new business is called Teal Saguaro Wellness. We started this business January 1st of this year, 2024. Previously, my business was just under my name, 𝗘𝗽𝗵𝘀𝗀𝗏 Vance, LPCC-S. I am a licensed professional clinical counselor supervisor, and I was just practicing counseling. I have extensive training in holistic health coaching and health restoration, and so I have knowledge and skills and abilities in topics outside of counseling and incorporate those into what I do, and want to be able to practice more of that and help people in other ways aside from just counseling, which is why I started Teal Saguaro Wellness, with the eventual goal of being able to have more of a wellness center with other providers that practice holistic health and want to promote a overall healthy lifestyle by looking at things in a way that address more root cause, more of like, hey, where does that symptom come from? How do we help the body to heal itself versus just treating the symptoms, which is where traditional medicine, allopathic medicine tends to what allopathic medicine tends to treat. If you go to your doctor with a headache, you're more likely to get some kind of medication to stop the headache than you are to go there and understand where the headache was coming from. I could give you lots of examples, but that's usually the type of example that I give. If you have a cold, here's cold medicine. We want to decrease your fever. We want to decrease your cough. We want to decrease your discomfort. Yeah, I don't want to feel terrible either, but we know that your fever fights a virus and is going to kill off what is going on inside you. That's why you have the fever. It's heating up to kill off what's essentially, in layman's terms and very simply put, right, you're trying to fight off the illness. You have a cough because there's something going on. What is the thing that's going on? How can we support your body to get through the illness better, rather than stop what is happening, which has the potential to either extend your illness. So if you decrease your fever, you could still be sick for a while, versus we let your fever happen and it fights off that illness, and you maybe feel like crud for a little while, but you're not going to feel like crud as long. Or the other factor that can happen is that your illness comes back because it was never fully fought to begin with. So your body doesn't have the chance to remember what just happened, to remember what it went through, so it can fight that illness again when it's exposed to it, or not get it. So all that to say is that, that's practicing where things are coming from in your body, how to address them, finding ways to deal with them, and to help you overcome them in a natural way. Well, last week we posted on our social media pages that Google censored us. They suspended our business profile, stating that we had violated their terms and conditions. And looking at their terms and conditions, a lot of the statements are very vague, as you will probably notice if you are in this field. Some of those things, so for example, I I'll run through some of the things that they list. I'm not going to go through all of them. A lot of them are self-explanatory, but some of them, as they pertain to me, are vague, and it could be taken any way you want them to be taken. And so in my case, it's being taken as probably me doing something wrong. Now, my profile, the business profile, looking through it, in our opinion, didn't violate any of their rules. We list exactly what we do, who our target audience is. You know, there's nothing defamatory or wrong or misinformation or inappropriate in any way, just on the profile. So there's no fake engagement. We're not paying to have people like our posts. If you go to my page, you know, I'm still growing, and because of ongoing censorship, we don't have the reach that we had with my previous business. So December 31st, I was Kaela Vance, LPCC-S. January 1st, I was Teal Saguaro Wellness. And in doing so, like, all your numbers changed, you know, your SEO changes and drops, because I didn't exist. And so we've spent at least the last 9 months trying to build that up, but we're nowhere near what we were with my previous business. And a lot of that is because of censorship, deplatforming, minimizing, not allowing my reach. Even, you know, I send out weekly newsletters, and I send them to myself, and every week, almost every week, not every week, they go directly to my spam folder. I'm sending them to myself, and I get them in my spam folder. And every week I mark them as not spam, and the next week it goes into my spam folder. And I have colleagues who get my emails, and they'll say, I'm not getting your email. And I say, have you checked your spam? And there they are. And they tell me they'll mark them as not spam. They still go to spam. My emails that I send to clients that, you know, I have potential clients reach out to me, and I will send them an email response. Hey, got your message. Schedule a consultation. Would love to talk with you to see if we'd be a good fit. That's usually how I communicate with potential clients. I send those out now. Crickets. I don't get responses. I'm having to now call people, which I eventually do anyway, you know, if they schedule something, but I'm not typically calling them when I get that message. And so now I almost have to, because my emails are likely going to their spam. People aren't seeing that I am calling you or that I'm emailing you. You're thinking like I'm just blown off by yet another therapist. I haven't blown anybody off. I'm sure there are occasions where I accidentally miss a message or don't see one, you know, but that's not the norm. The norm is I usually try to get to it within 24 to 48 hours. You know, weekends usually will delay that. But they're going to people's spam folders, so nobody is seeing my messages. And we have been working on trying to figure that out since we realized that was happening. I think that was around February, March, and it's still happening. It hasn't changed. So, you know, I don't know what the answer is, if it's finding, you know, a new email client, if it's, you know, pushing back. I know other holistic providers are experiencing these things. But you know, those are the things that I'm experiencing. So some of the things you're not supposed to do, you know, you're not supposed to have like prohibited content. So that's fake engagement, which I said I don't have fake engagement. Impersonation, like impersonating somebody. Misinformation, that's the big one. Listed under misinformation is fake or inaccurate or deceptive content that can cause significant harm. Again, vague. What is considered fake, what is considered inaccurate, what is considered deceptive, and what is considered significant harm. This is all up to, you know, somebody, whether the information that I'm sharing is any of those things. I personally don't believe that anything that I'm saying is any of those things. I share accurate information. I share helpful information. It's just not the right type of helpful or truthful information. So under misinformation is also misleading health information. Again, when you don't follow the mainstream and you practice a more alternative approach to health and medicine and wellness, a lot of the information we talk about is labeled as misleading or false information when it's actually not. And then there's little like a disclaimer that says, this information, we accept verifiable, authoritative sources. There's no list of who a verifiable, authoritative source is. Who are your verifiable, authoritative sources? There are many authoritative sources. There are many sources out there that have a ton of knowledge of health information that is not the CDC. It is not, the ABCD's government agencies or hospitals. Now, granted, hospitals do have helpful information, but those aren't always my sources of information that I, get facts from. And sometimes facts are from lived experiences. And, who's to say that information isn't verifiable? Another category they had was inappropriate content or behavior. And there was, 25 things listed on there. Some of them were harassment, offensive content, use of profanity, hate speech, sexually explicit material, violence or gore, dangerous or illegal activity, child safety, and more. None of my content violates any of that, and yet we are being suspended because Google has decided that we are doing those things. Now, could somebody have reported our page or a post on our page for some kind of misinformation? I guess that's possible. When I talk to people about this who are not in the holistic health world, do not run a holistic business, usually you get the turn of the head and the questionable face like, well, that happens? I've never heard of that. I've been in this world for a while, even just personally, and I've witnessed it for many of the accounts that I follow that talk about health content, that talk about natural sources of health and wellness. Their content is often banned or shadow banned, meaning like it's out there. You put your material out there, but the platform has blocked your content from being seen by the masses, from being seen by even your own followers. So that makes it hard for us to get information out, especially a newer business. I could give in and not mention and not talk about certain things, but that's not who I am, and that's not what I want to do. I want to talk about, natural health. I want to talk about how we can help you in a natural way and what things are going to be beneficial for you. And when I can't make recommendations, in therapy specifically, on like what medications or herbs or things you can and cannot take. That's not something I can or do, but it is something we talk about. It is, addressing the pros and cons. It is recommending talking to your provider. And if you don't have one, providing resources for providers that they can talk to about the topics that we're talking about. Like, hey, these herbs are really helpful for these many different things. I recommend you look into it a little further. I recommend that you talk to your provider about these things and find out which ones would be best for you. Those are things that we do both in, counseling world and holistic world, is that there are lots of options out there and things that you can do to help yourself. But they are not necessarily mainstream. And so it's really hard when Google decides that they want to censor you, or any other platform for that matter. So I'm experiencing that with newsletters. I'm experiencing that with my social media pages. I'm experiencing that with my Google page. If you are a holistic provider out there, I feel you. Hopefully we can stand strong together and we can accomplish something, and we can, persevere through this. It's really hard to grow a business when your business isn't able to be seen in the way that things are seen these days. And so it's trying to find alternative routes to being able to accomplish that task. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you joining me today. And I hope you can give us holistic providers a chance. You have to seek us out, because oftentimes we are not out there as well as we could be or should be, because and not for our own doing, but because that's what people are, the media is putting on us, and our social media is preventing us from getting out there. Thank you for following me. Thank you if you've been a follower, if you are watching, I really appreciate it. Please share and like my content as much as you can, because that's what's going to help bypass some of those algorithms that are already in place and help me to be able to be seen and to be heard and to help you and others like you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.